So first and foremost, I just want to say Happy Memorial Day to everyone around the world, especially to those who have fought for our country, you know, and who served for our country and all that. So that's first and foremost. Second thing, I wanted to address this yesterday, but I didn't get a chance to. It's been kind of hectic, even like in the later part of the afternoon when my vacation just actually started. I thought I was going to start yesterday morning. It just turns out that um, some unexpected things going on, and this is um, it's just been a little hectic, like from morning on until like early afternoon, and that's when my vacation just finally started. But speaking of what just happened, like the hectic part of yesterday morning, I'm not gonna really address like what actually happened, but I'm gonna address more on like how all of that is just you know continuously exposing my not self-destruction, but just like the continuing lack of self-confidence that has been you know has been ongoing for the past month and so now, you know what I'm saying? So this just goes back to what I said in my other video, probably like a few days ago, when I said that despite having a number of therapy sessions, that as long as I'm still in that dump, you know it's only going to worsen my self-confidence. I talked about that in great detail in like three of my videos, and I don't need to express it any more than what I've said. And unfortunately, like, to see what just transpired yesterday, and a lot of it is just more on my struggles, my mental struggles, my lack of confidence, self-confidence, that's allowed me to just drastically mess up like never before. Or I mean, I don't even know if I can say never before, because I've had a lot of stupid mess ups in the past, just not nearly to the extent that it is now. You know what I'm saying? Now, I mean, I will admit there were some challenges that I had to face that I never faced before. That's something that I wish that my dump would still provide me. Of course, as is expected, you know, I'm never gonna expect any more new opportunities or even new challenges while I'm still there. For as long as I'm still there in my 12th year, um, the longer I'm there, like what more do I gotta prove? Especially as a quote unquote graphic artist, when that role itself is slowly being obsolete. Or maybe I should just say straight up, it is obsolete. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I've been faced with a couple of new challenges. Oh, for my sake, maybe just new challenges, and unfortunately, I just happen to mess up. You know, it's like that. It's like, I'm not really gonna say it's on the person. I know some people who give me tough love. It's not really hating on a person. It's more tough love. Somebody can, like, no matter who the person is, it could be a friend or family member, who can give you such a tone, but in the end, it can, they'll always be willing to you know to treat you nice, asking, hey, do you want a piece of my sandwich, or do you want this part of, or that, do you want the coffee, this and that. Some nice things, but a lot of it is just tough love. That, I think, is something that I don't have anymore. I used to have it in the past when Rico used to work in my dump, and you know although he didn't, like, he wasn't really as loud as some other people I know, but but he definitely gave me some tough love, you know. And considering that he was my former lead graphic designer and coworker, as I was, working together for almost 2 years, like I kind of like, for me, what I had is, it goes with the saying of this quote, which is, if you want to change, you have to be willing to be uncomfortable. There's another one here as well. To be outstanding, get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Become comfortable with being uncomfortable. That, I think that's what I had before, and as far as that's concerned, I just really don't have that anymore, except when I'm here at home. Now look, it's always there's always going to be challenges out there for me, especially with what I'm going through still, like after what transpired just last month in April, and already know the deal with toward the end of March and how it got this far for me. Now, obviously, my ex close friend memorial is not done. Service is not done. I still got to get through that. Whenever I can get to it, it's a lot of people, and I might have to have a week, to get through everyone, because it's 39 people, and obviously the last 10, I'm gonna have a whole lot to say. So who knows? I might need some after work time to do that, whenever I get back to work, which is this Thursday. So anyways, as getting back to that particular quote, I remember Jesse had posted this, ex close friend Jesse, when I hiked with to the Bridge to Nowhere. He had posted something like that on his Instagram about, if you want to change, you gotta get comfortable with being uncomfortable. You know what? There's a lot of quotes that I look at, especially on Facebook, that I find corny and silly, that I just don't really happen to agree with. But this is one of those quotes I really do agree with. That I have to, if I have to change, I gotta go through the uncomfortable, just to get comfortable and grow for the better. Now look, as much as it concerns people, it's no matter what, it's you can't really please everyone. All right, I'm gonna have my supporters. I'm gonna have people who are gonna do their best to support me, as long as they can see proof that I can get through the uncomfortable with their ways, especially if it means the tough love that they constantly give me. And if I can succeed, time after time, to the point that I can finally be the change for the better in that sense, then maybe I'll have believers like that too. But again, I can't please everyone, and especially the ones that I lost. But that is something that I need, and that's what I used to have in my workplace when Rico was there working with me. He pushed me to the limits, man. He pushed me over limits, man. Like, as far as growing as a graphic designer, everything all done in 1 year. Through all my mess ups, through all my fears of just having to ask so many questions to the point of irritants. And that's another thing I struggle with, is thinking that I know, that I can do it all when I can't, because that's my fear right now. And this all just ties into to what I have said as far as losing my self-confidence. Um, I just lost, like, and facing the darkness that I'm facing, having all the demons around me. And, obviously with my friend circle that I still avoided, you know, as far as the all around presence and its surroundings, that's that's where I kind of, like, I think it I think that's where it started to, as far as like me feeling like a loner every single day. And the fact of the matter is, like, as long as I'm still, even in the workplace I'm still in, it's like I really have no support over there. I really have nobody to just, when it comes to work, like, push me like Rico did in the first year, as well as some other people. You know, I don't have anything like that. It's just everything I'm dealing with there. I'm just like literally chilling there, and there's really no gap because there's hardly ever any work going on, and you know, with the will call rack just being as empty as it as it has been the past week, you know, I feel like I have very less responsibilities in my role now as a quote unquote graphic artist. Again, I feel like it's been obsolete to the point where I just really got no choice but to get the hell out of there if I really want to advance and, better myself as a person. So when I do get a new job, I can definitely be more challenged and work with people who, there's a possibility that they're gonna try to make me uncomfortable. So I can find ways and learn to overcome the uncomfortability, if I'm using that word correctly, the uncomfortability of, just overcoming the discomfort, and just getting through it, and just having the self confidence, as I progress in life, even when it's that. The problem is, I said it again, my workplace is the problem. I mean, I hate to say it, like, I just have to keep blaming my dump no matter what. Um, the fact that the same company president, the same management are still running that place, it just drives me crazy that I have to rot even further to where I become useless, to where I feel like I become a special needs, well, just a feeling like a special needs person in that sense. That I hate to sound harsh, like always using that kind of analogy, but I just feel that way, and you know, and that's how I've been feeling at home too. Unfortunately, my self confidence just continues to worsen. Look, my next therapy session is in a couple of days, and you know, I can tell my therapist about the uncomfortability that I'm facing and the self confidence that I've been lacking, and you know, it just gets to a point where, like, I don't know if I even need to take any classes, or go with, like, I've been advised about taking therapy groups. I really don't need that. I mean, I'm not trying to you know I'm not trying to hinder on their advice, but I just think I can find better ways where I can get the tough love I need, like playing basketball, like a 2-on-2 matchup. I've had plenty of those when I played with Dewey, Abbas, Julio, especially. Julio was that guy that has been giving me the tough love. Like every time I mess up, this goes all the way back to when we reunited, especially when we had played with Chris and Alexis, some 2-on-2 matchups, and he always giving me that tough love, saying that I suck, and like, hey man, stick to your man, all that, and like, you can't do this, you can't do that, something like that. I think at that point I'm just gonna need something like that, because that's what pro athletes are going through. And knowing me, just watching sports and watching mostly NBA, I see athletes go through that kind of criticism, to the point where, you know, guys like Kevin Durant, um, Russell Westbrook, Kyrie Irving had to fight off the criticism, that even the unwarranted criticism, um, to where they they will, that they sorry to kind of I'm losing a little train of thought here, to where they better their games, like, to better themselves, as players and even stars, that, no matter what these guys, the fans, or what other people say about them, that they're never going to believe in these guys, that, for them, it's just good fuel, to add to their fire, that to better their games, to continue silencing them. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. I know I have a capability like that, but the problem is, once again, it's my workplace. And my workplace has always been the problem. It's the number one problem, that it just continues to, you know, like, while I'm in a process of applying, at the same time, with all the everyday hopes that I've been having, it's just, those hopes are just off out the door, because there's no way that this place is going to change. I don't have anybody around me to push me. Armando's not that guy, anymore, I should say. Yeah, it's like most of the people have been gone. I just don't have it. And I think another thing that I gotta address is, as shown in this video right here, like, the no likability. Look, this whole year of 2025, there's just been a lot of no likability. And this no likability thing, I'm not saying that nobody likes me anymore, even though I feel that way almost every day. That I just happen to feel like a loner almost every day, or just practically every single day. Even after ghosting my entire friend circle, that oh, it's never a good decision in general, but for me, it is for the best of my mental health after what transpired last year, and even just parts of the beginning of January. Just to the point where I just can't take it anymore. Right now, having to take therapy, it's I'm hoping that all that will change. But again, as long as I'm in that workplace, that's only going to, dissipate a lot of what I've learned, and only worsening my confidence, as it showed the last, few days. That's why I said I need, like, I can't just deal with, new challenges at home, because elsewhere, if it's just the same old shit, like in my workplace, that I'm just too comfortable with, like, knowing that there's nothing going on. And I know that's not my intention, but, like, just to get through all this bullshit, that, I have no other choice but to apply and just do my other basketball shoot around scores, for my old basketball shoot arounds, even for, like, old friend hangouts. I can't get with that. It's not a good balance. Like, after what transpired yesterday, I think it's just further exposes, like, the no likability factor, as far as all of my lost self-confidence, and what everything that just transpired from last month, and me admitting that I was a failure of a friend. I went through darkness mode, and it still continues to this day. Even though I'm on a mini vacation right here, right? At some point, I know I'm going to have to be facing that again, until, I can find other, like, extracurricular. Hold on for a second. Just drinking some green tea. Like I was saying, like, some extracurricular activities, and I'm talking about activities that's where people are going to push me. I need that again, because what I went through with Rico in my dump, my first year in my dump, like and even those 2-on-2 basketball games that I played with other people, I need something like that. This way, I at least I have something, other like things like that. Like that's what I'm talking about when I say extracurricular kind of activities where people can push me. Hell, I can join the military if I have to, even with no experience. And hell, if I just join, I know I'm going to get a lot of yelling on my face and, telling me to do this and that. It's a place where you just learn sheer discipline. Fraternity might just be too much. I mean, it is also ideal if I really want to go through, worse than tough love. Like if you're talking about, I mean, I know what it is, but I'm not gonna bother to go through that. I mean, I've been told it's just not ideal like that. But anything that's just going to push me at this point, while I'm still dealing with the no likability factor, even though, I'm not saying that nobody likes me. It's just that, I just don't have enough support, like belief from certain people, like some friends, even ex close friends, to say, hey man, you got to do this, you got to do that. Hey man, I'm believing you. Like I got some people like them, even Amari or somebody like a Carlos or a Boss, or someone like a Paula, who can really, stay on track with me as far as, hey, did you do it? Did you get it? Or when they watch my progress like that, that's what I need, for me to, to show that at least I have the self-confidence. I mean, friends, even real close friends like them, there will be, especially Mari being the top closest friend, like who gives me that kind of support, like left and right, day by day. You know what I'm saying? So I need something like that, to balance out my likability and no likability. But right now, like if you're looking at the line chart, the likability factor, if you think about it, it's just way up the no likability factor. And it's just very concerning, because what happened yesterday, look like it's just another bad mess up. I mean, I did one thing good, and then next thing you know, everything else is just bad, and to the point where I'm just not being trusted enough. And I let it be known, I cannot be a trusted source for when it comes to, when being asked for help for certain things. Like, I don't know, that's where it goes to me, is that, like, I just, like, when I have that lackluster self-confidence, that's when, that's just when, that like you might, I mean, I hate to say it, like, in my opinion, you might just be even lacking common sense, basic thinking. That's what I have lacking right now, is the common sense, basic thinking, even in moments like that. It's because of my lost self-confidence, which is a result of why I'm still in that workplace. I mean, I'm just keeping it real. I don't care what guys like Andrew, Julio, or, Robbie, any of those guys, or even Carlos too, like, just them thinking that, no, I'm making these kind of excuses, man. At this point, I don't care if they tell me that. I'm saying it as it is. And no matter how many therapy sessions I have, like to seemingly to better myself as a person, the longer I'm in that place, the worse my confidence gets, and that's why I can't just rot. Sitting there for 8 hours, like doing nothing for the past month now, especially with the terrorist thing, that it's just, I told you, it feels like I'm in a library. It just feels like I'm in a library. So, I got to work on all of that, especially as I've been job hunting yesterday. I got to take more time today to do it, and as well as tomorrow, while I have the mini vacation to myself. So that's something I got to deal with. That's just the only thing I got to get through. Job interviews. Even my therapist told me, "Hey, man, get in the job and really better yourself as a person." And for my sake, it's increasing the self-confidence and getting the confidence back that I had when I had like in the when I had my friend circle that was still at full strength. You know what I'm saying? Right now, I'm still in darkness mode. Yeah, I'm on a vacation, but that doesn't mean that my darkness has gone away. And especially after what transpired yesterday, like, look, I know I was able to keep my anger in check, and the one thing I'm lacking now is just self-confidence. And when I have lost that much, I feel like I lost a lot of common sense thinking. Because all the bases are like all the mess ups that I've had. And it's just sad. Like, it's just very, very, very sad. But yeah, I don't want to go in too far on this. I know I've said a lot, as far as like the no likability factor. But, I just, like I said, I got to work through it. And, let's see what kind of suggestions I'll get from my therapist, in the next couple of days. You know what I'm saying? So y'all have a good Memorial Day. And yep. Y'all enjoy as well as me and enjoy my mini vacation. So peace out.